She stood at the podium and said the words nobody expected to hear. I almost quit. Not retired, not took a break, not stepped back. Almost quit. The same athlete who has spent nearly her entire life working toward this moment, who people see as the embodiment of determination and grit, admitted she came within inches of walking away from everything. And the reason why should terrify every single person who cares about sports. This isn't a story about weakness. This isn't about someone who couldn't handle the pressure or didn't want it enough. This is about what we're doing to our athletes behind the scenes, the invisible weight we pile on their shoulders, and how close we came to losing one of the brightest talents in tennis because nobody taught her it was okay to struggle. To understand how we got here, you have to understand what potential really means in professional sports. Everyone talks about it like it's a gift, this beautiful thing that opens doors and creates opportunities. But potential can become a prison. When you're labeled as someone destined for greatness, every single day becomes about proving that label right. Every practice session, every match, every interview becomes evidence for or against the case that you're worth the investment people have made in you. She described it perfectly. Potential feels like a promise you're expected to keep every single day. Think about that pressure. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that hundreds of people are watching your every move, measuring your progress, comparing your results to some invisible timeline they've created in their heads. Imagine trying to focus on improving your backhand when part of your brain is constantly asking whether you're disappointing your family, your country, everyone who believed in you. And here's what makes this even more devastating. She tried to handle it the way athletes are taught to handle everything. Work harder, train more, push through, smile when you need to smile, answer questions the way you're supposed to answer them. Keep telling yourself that if you just win the next match, get through the next week, work a little harder, then maybe that crushing feeling will go away. But it doesn't work that way. The weight kept building. It showed up when she was packing her bags for another tournament. It showed up during warm-ups when her mind felt louder than her body. It showed up when she lost a point and it felt like it meant everything instead of nothing. Most dangerously, it showed up in the way she started questioning decisions she used to make naturally. Shots she had hit thousands of times that suddenly didn't feel certain anymore. What she's describing is the difference between competing and surviving. When you're competing, you step on the court focused on the opponent in front of you, the point you're playing. When you're surviving, you step on the court trying to answer questions that have nothing to do with tennis. Am I good enough? Am I improving fast enough? Am I letting everyone down? Those questions turn every match into something much bigger and heavier than it should be. But here's the part that should make you angry. She kept all of this to herself because she thought that was the mature thing to do. She thought talking about her struggles would make people think she wasn't strong enough, or that she was complaining. She was drowning quietly because we've created a culture where athletes feel ashamed for having normal human emotions. We worship their strength but punish their vulnerability. The breaking point wasn't dramatic. It wasn't one bad loss or one terrible tournament. It was what she called a slow build. A quiet exhaustion that crept in so gradually she didn't recognize it until she was already drowning in it. She started waking up feeling pressure before she even stepped on the court. She began feeling guilty for resting, guilty for struggling, guilty for having emotions that didn't match the image people had of her. Then she judged herself for feeling that way, which made everything heavier. This is where the tennis world needs to take a hard look at itself. We're so focused on developing champions that we forget to develop human beings. We teach athletes how to hit perfect forehands, but not how to process the weight of expectations. We show them how to analyze match footage, but not how to separate their identity from their performance. We celebrate their wins, but offer no guidance for handling the internal battles that can destroy them. The most heartbreaking part of her revelation is how she discovered that her sense of self had become completely tied to her results. When matches went well, everything felt aligned. When they didn't, she questioned who she was as a person. That's not sustainable for anyone, but especially not for someone whose results are scrutinized by millions of people and dissected by experts who've never faced that pressure themselves. She seriously considered stepping away. Not permanently, but enough to reset. And the fact that she felt strange about even considering that choice shows how warped our expectations have become. Taking time to address mental health shouldn't feel radical, but in a sport that demands constant forward momentum, it does. The idea that pushing through isn't always the right solution goes against everything athletes are taught from childhood. What saved her wasn't some magical breakthrough or perfect solution. It was the simple act of reconnecting with why she started playing in the first place. Not for rankings or endorsements or to meet other people's expectations, but for the pure joy of being on a court and expressing herself through the game. That feeling was still there, buried under everything else we had piled on top of it. Her decision to speak publicly about this isn't just brave, it's necessary. She's showing other athletes that admitting struggle doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. She's proving that asking for help is part of growing, not a sign of failure. Most importantly, she's exposing the gap between what we expect from our sports stars and what we actually teach them about handling those expectations. The tennis world should be asking itself some hard questions right now. How many other players are suffering in silence? How many careers have we lost because athletes felt they had to choose between seeking help and appearing strong? How many times have we mistaken survival for strength? Her story isn't unique, it's just unusually honest. She's still figuring things out, still rebuilding trust in herself, still learning how to compete without carrying unnecessary weight into every point. But she's doing it openly now, with support, with awareness of what she needs to stay balanced. That's not a sign of weakness recovering. That's what strength actually looks like when it's honest about its limitations. The next time you watch her play, remember this moment. Remember that behind every powerful serve and brilliant winner is a human being who almost walked away because the weight of our expectations nearly crushed the joy out of something she loved. The question isn't whether she'll come back stronger, it's whether we'll learn anything from how close we came to losing her in the first place.